I spoke with a client once who was begging me to help save her baby while alongside her boyfriend, filled with panic and desperation. She was in New York and had started chemical abortion. She felt that immediate regret, and we were able to connect her with a provider and get her the progesterone minutes before the closest pharmacy closed. The shame clients feel can be very overwhelming. The political landscapes are commonly viewed against us, a society that devalues life, and the power of the enemy. We are so honored to say that we have over 8,000 lives saved and counting, thanks to APR and all the individuals who assist in this network.
Here's a helpline. If you click on, just phone this number, click on that link, you will get the help that you need. It's very important for people to share this. I'm sorry, it just is. You got to toughen up a bit, because we have a responsibility, and God is going to judge Canada harshly. And we're in the middle of that judgment, and that is why we're suffering.
Hello and welcome to tonight's show, where we provide information and resources for everyday Canadians. We're so thankful you can join us. Our guest speaker this evening is Ashley Vance, and the title of tonight's show is Abortion Pill Reversal: Over 8,000 Babies Saved. It's Wednesday, May 27th, 2026, and this is the Empower Hour. If you're joining us on the Empower Hour for the very first time, it's my pleasure to introduce you to Tanya Gaw, the founder and leader of Action for Canada. For almost 11 years, Tanya has been bringing public awareness to the many serious issues facing our nation. Every week, Tanya highlights strategies, resources, and victories to inspire us to take action in our communities and to make a difference in our country. Will you all please help me welcome Tanya Gaw? Hello, Tanya.
Hi, Heather. Thanks for that introduction, and thanks for your great presentation that you've put together to show a little bit of what Action for Canada is doing to protect our kids. So as for tonight, I'm really looking forward to having Ashley Vance on the show. I met her recently at a function at my church, and it was Conception Crossroads, and there was 4 presentations in total. I was one of the speakers, and every single one of them had such great value on protecting our children in the womb, what the rights are of a child, like the right to have a mother and father. Like, these babies are not for sale, and it's become an industry. And this is something that morally and ethically we have to really take a closer look at, and in protecting them. And then as well, one of the ladies as well covered IVF. That was a really interesting presentation. And then Ashley came on and she started talking about the abortion pill reversal. And I was just so excited about this that I thought, well, would you come on the show? Every single speaker, I should have just make it a whole series. But for tonight, Ashley is on and she's going to share a great presentation. But before she does that, I just want to share a little information so that if you don't quite make it to the end of the show, and I hope you will, that you'll know where to find some of the links and the information, because it is so critical to get this information shared as widely as possible, and especially due to the censorship. Action for Canada is super censored, and you can imagine what the abortion industry feels when they're hearing that this simple pill can reverse the abortion industry's attack against the baby in the womb and the mother. And they're not liking this one bit. So I'll go right into sharing the screen. For those of you who are new to Action for Canada, I create an information page every week that we have a guest. I highlight what the topic is, and then I provide solutions, because that's what Action for Canada is all about. So we give some information, again, on our website, always providing the links to our guests' website and whatever other pertinent information is needed. And I mentioned about the censorship, so I do include that here, and really, really encourage people that we can say, by spreading word of mouth, that is sometimes, when you're in the middle of the war, the best way to go about it. And so your personal email from Action for Canada, even if you have to look up our Rumble page because you're not receiving our email, because tomorrow this show will be added to a page that we generally send out on Sunday night, just to make sure that our members get it. And if you haven't signed up for Action for Canada, make sure you do. So one of the actions that we could do as a solution is there's a wonderful organization, like it's become a house of refuge. And that's a call to pastors and churches to consider becoming places, as I say here, of compassion, truth, healing, and practical support for those facing crisis pregnancies and abortion regret. So it could be, a woman who has just found out that she's pregnant, she's panicking, how could I possibly do this? And so many think that abortion is the only solution. And really what they need is support. How do I get through this? Where will my support system be? Especially, if they are single and maybe don't have support of their family. And then there are many of those, I would say the majority, if not all, that suffer some form of abortion regret. And that's a lifetime of regret. Maybe all of us know somebody, or some of you know somebody. I personally know somebody who did back when they were 18 years old, and that wound has never healed completely. And so we really, the church should be stepping up to be of assistance. And this isn't just women that carry the grief, as it says here, deep grief, emotional wounds, and lifelong regret and silence. It's also men. Many men have no control, even though I'm going to say it this way, it's their property. Their DNA that is inside the womb of that woman, that was two people that made that decision, yet they're not having a right often to say, no, I want that baby. Like, even if they were willing, to raise that baby. So there are men who carry that regret deeply as well. And so we want to make sure that these people know there's help for you and there is a place of refuge. So again, go to our webpage, find this information. I'll show you where you can simply find it. Another action that you can take, a solution, is we've really been promoting candidates, support, promote, vote. Isn't that great? Get out there, raise them up from within our churches. And we really, really need to raise up good, godly leaders, because you can imagine if we had a majority, we wouldn't be dealing with this issue. We wouldn't be one of the only Western civilizations with zero abortion legislation. Abortion is legal in this country up to full term. I showed you a couple of weeks ago when we had Jocelyn on, a 21-week-old baby in the womb, and full term is, 24 weeks to 40, and you've got this life with limbs and a heartbeat, and from very, very early on, 12 weeks, 8 weeks, 7 weeks. So the fact that abortion is to full term, I want to see abortion stopped. But the fact that late term abortions are happening, and they're happening regularly in Canada, I mean, we got to start somewhere. There's got to be a law. And then thirdly, be informed and educate others. I do not hear the kind of information. When I had Jocelyn on, I played a couple of videos of the process of what takes place in aborting a baby. And this is a human life. This is a human person. And they take this baby, and this is a bit graphic, I'm sorry, but from limb, when they tear them from the womb, or a chemical abortion. It's got to stop. And this has to become frontline conversation. It's uncomfortable, but as Christians, we cannot turn away from this. We got to face it head on. And so Action for Canada has an abortion page. It's Abortion Facts and Resources. The abortion pill reversal it's been moved right to the top of the page, because there's a short window to turn an abortion around, a chemical abortion around. Here's a helpline. If you click on, just phone this number, click on that link, you will get the help that you need. These are the videos that we have describing the process. It's very important for people to share this. I'm sorry, it just is. You got to toughen up a bit, because we have a responsibility, and God is going to judge Canada harshly. And we're in the middle of that judgment, and that is why we're suffering. We need to vote for a party that is willing to put forward legislation. The Conservatives, Liberals, NDP, Bloc Québécois, and Greens refuse to create legislation. It is only Maxime Bernier at the People's Party of Canada and Rod Taylor at the Christian Heritage Party who are willing to put abortion legislation forward. These are the people that we should be electing into office. Here's the information about Become a House of Refuge. And then there's Jocelyn from a couple of weeks ago, some other information that's pertinent. We'll continue to build this page. If you haven't watched Unplanned, I really, really encourage you to do so. Tonight's links with Ashley will be heartbeatinternational.org is one of the links that you can go to, and of course, abortionpillreversal.com. So with that in mind, and covering that, Heather, back to you. Would you please introduce our guest?
Thank you, Tanya. We're so pleased to introduce you to tonight's guest speaker. Ashley Vance is an RN with a life-affirming specialist designation, and she's currently the healthcare team manager with Heartbeat International. Tonight, she'll be talking about the life-saving work of abortion pill reversal, a treatment that has already saved the lives of over 8,000 babies worldwide. She'll also be addressing the horrific realities of taking the abortion pill and how women who have experienced complications, trauma, grief, and regret are ignored and silenced. We're so grateful that Ashley can join us tonight to discuss this very important topic. Will you all please help me welcome Ashley Vance. Hello, Ashley. Welcome to the Empower Hour.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to be here with you all. I love Action for Canada.
That's awesome. Thank you, Heather, and welcome, Ashley. I just feel like it was a God appointment when we met at Riverside Calvary Church in Langley at the event. And I remember sitting on stage there with you, and it was part of the Q&A at the end of the event. And you were putting an appeal out, and I want to get that going at the beginning of the show for anyone that is able to, who has prescribing rights, that if they could please contact you, and that means maybe a doctor, a nurse, I don't know who else has prescribing rights, but it would be prescribing progesterone. That's the pill that we're talking about that turns this chemical abortion around. And so I know I had Dr. Hoff on the mind right away when you had mentioned that. And I know that you've made contact, we've connected you, and I'm praying for good things to happen there. But I really want to make an appeal to our audience, to our members, that if you know a doctor or someone who can prescribe prescriptions of progesterone, that they could get in touch with Ashley at info@apr.life. That's right below Ashley's name. So as we go through the show and presentation, please consider that. We need people across Canada and every single province and territory to step up and give some of their time at that urgent moment when we could save a life. So Ashley, again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's a true honor. I love that you guys don't shy away from the tough conversations. And I know abortion is one of those, but we have to have it. So I'm so thankful to share all about APR and the reality of what the landscape is for abortion today.
Right. And I'm really looking forward to your presentation. I again want to encourage people, please make sure that you share this information and this presentation. We're really doing a lot of lobbying of government at the local level, your MLAs, your MPs, whoever it is that could have an effect and help us to turn things around. Please put this in their hands. Be brave. Even if you think, oh, they're going to reject this information, start reaching out and pray for them in advance that God would really touch their heart and move them. So Ashley, with that, I don't want to delay you getting on to your presentation. And finally, too, if anybody has any questions, if you're with us live on Zoom, please put them in the Q&A and we will answer those. Just mark them down as Ashley's going through the presentation, and we'll try to get to those at the end. So over to you, Ashley.
So hello and welcome to my presentation, Abortion Pill Rescue Updates and Victories. We are so thankful to have you here today to learn a little bit more about this life-saving ministry, how the progesterone protocol works, the way the Abortion Pill Reversal Network functions, and how you can get involved. Chemical abortion is steadily on the rise, and we need all of those who are called to join in on behalf of the unborn and mothers who experience regret. The landscape of abortion has changed globally, but APRN offers a second chance at hope. Who I am Ashley Vance, a nurse from British Columbia, Canada. I joined Heartbeat International as a hotline nurse in 2019, and I absolutely loved the mission. I felt a strong pull on my heart as I was completing nursing school to do something pro-life, and I'm grateful to say that my role has been one of my greatest blessings. I'm a wife and a mother to my amazing children, and I'm also a follower of Jesus Christ, the King of Kings and the source of all salvation. The topics we'll be focusing on today is learning what chemical abortion is and isn't, describing the science of mifepristone reversal, the prevalence of chemical abortion, how we can answer the call and challenge of chemical abortion through abortion pill reversal by examining the latest data, how to approach women with love and compassion. APR clients are unique. These are not abortion vulnerable women. These are women actively in the midst of it. All throughout today, we will celebrate APR victories, and you will see the updates our ministry has joyfully experienced. What we are discussing today is not abstract. These are very real lives on the line and at stake. Lives like Evie's featured here. She is beautiful, wanted, and needed by the world. More lives like hers are being rescued at this very moment, and while that is happening, women are also being saved from the trauma and devastation of abortion. As you know, there are many forms of abortion, but today we are covering chemical abortion and the primary medications used for this purpose. Chemical abortion is a two-step process. It starts with a woman taking the first pill, which is called mifepristone, or it can also be called RU486 or Mifeprex. This is followed up with the medication misoprostol, but it also can be called Cytotec to complete the abortion. This is most commonly what we see on the hotline, and most women experience regret after taking that first pill called mifepristone. This is where APR comes into play. However, everyone is different, and sometimes regret can occur after all the chemical abortion pills are taken. We'll talk more about that shortly. There is also a chemical abortion drug called methotrexate that can be used to end a pregnancy, but we see that very rarely on the hotline, although there is a protocol that can support these pregnancies as well. Chemical abortion and what we are discussing today is different than emergency contraception, such as Plan B. There's common confusion around this, and while some emergency contraception can have abortifacient effects, chemical abortion is the attempt to end a known pregnancy. There is no known reversal for emergency contraception, and while we are unable to assist these clients outside of referring them to their local pregnancy resource center for women's health services. So this slide demonstrates a standard chemical abortion protocol commonly used by abortionists. Of course, this can vary, but it will go something along the lines of this is what we'll see at APR. Day one, the client will be prescribed mifepristone, 200 to 600 milligrams PO, or to take by mouth. 6 to 72 hours later, the client will be instructed to take misoprostol, 400 to 800 micrograms PO, again by mouth, via her buccal mucosa, which is putting it inside of her cheek, or inserting it vaginally. 6 to 72 hours later, they're instructed to follow up with misoprostol, 400 to 800 micrograms. And then on days 7 to 14, they would expect to see confirmation of fetal demise and an empty uterus. And the pregnancy would then expect to be passed within 2 to 24 hours after this. As women are in the midst of pregnancy crisis, relationship turmoil, fear over financial restraints, or whatever barrier a woman is experiencing which leads her to consider ending the life of her unborn child, know that there is an advertising campaign ensuing. You can see here how drug manufacturers market mifepristone. The packaging is very soft, feminine, and calming. It's got peaceful curves to it, and it almost looks like an answer to her concerns in a box. You can even see here how it's called the early option pill, which sounds very benign and easy. However, we know the battle between life and death is real, and you can see how every step of the way in this process, there is deception and a polishing of the truth of what lies ahead for these women and what really is in that box. Chemical abortion is marketed as many people make financial gain and money off this process. The advertising usually consists of imagery of the experience being natural, or they use phrases such as the missed period pill or menstruation inducing, as if they're just assisting her body's own cycle. I've even seen the words gentle cleansing or womb washing on websites. And they cite the abortion as a time to relax and for self-care. I've seen packets with chemical abortion offered with tea, slippers, bubble bath, as if it's a spa-like moment for a woman in need. I've talked to countless women who are unprepared for the amount of bleeding, pain, and labor-like cramping they are experiencing, and I believe it's largely due to the misinformation they're receiving from this type of framing. Outside of the advertising campaign around chemical abortion, there are many reasons why a woman would choose this option if she were seeking to end her pregnancy. Mail delivery is as common as an Amazon package now, and these pills can be easily sent through the mail to your front doorstep. Abortion pills are usually offered at the time of a positive pregnancy test, and she may be in a state of shock, surprise, and overwhelm. I've had clients tell me, I didn't even have time to think about it. The process can be done privately in one's own bedroom or dorm without anyone knowing what's occurring. Usually the method is quick as taking a pill and is considered generally less painful than a surgical abortion. It also gives the client a greater sense of control as she can decide when and where to start the abortion. Sometimes it is even taken during an emotional moment when the barriers feel too big. Women have commonly reported starting chemical abortion after a fight with their boyfriend or husband, the financial strain felt too great, concerns surrounding finishing school or college, or maybe they were kicked out and pressured by their parents. The regret clients feel is commonly quite immediate and comes shortly after taking the first pill when they have time to step back and realize the full reality of the situation. I've spoken with women from the parking lot of the abortion clinic and one even in the bathroom who immediately ran to throw up the pill and was panicking still inside of a Planned Parenthood. The shame clients feel can be very overwhelming, deep and painful. I spoke with a client once who was begging me to help save her baby while alongside her boyfriend, filled with panic and desperation. She was in New York and had started chemical abortion. She felt that immediate regret, and we were able to connect her with a provider and get her the progesterone minutes before the closest pharmacy closed. And I like to say that was my own personal Super Bowl moment. Clients have reported driving by a life-affirming billboard after taking mifepristone and feeling led to find help. Many speak about God and hoping to be able to be forgiven for their decision. Some are even active within their church. There are many reasons why women are deceived into believing abortion is the best option, but we know they feel the darkness in that decision, and the Lord can lead them back to help, hope, and a future for their unborn baby. A client recently stated, I'm really pro-life. I don't believe in abortion at all. I just don't know how I got into this, and I felt like I had to make a decision. You can see demonstrated here that we've all fallen into the trap of deception, wrong decisions, and choices we regret. Many who have started chemical abortion are having that exact experience, but in an incredibly deep and painful way. They thought this was a solution, a fix, but they learned it was a lie. Despite this reality, chemical abortion usage continues to rise. According to pro-abortion advocates WeCount, for the first half of 2025, January to June, there are approximately 591,770 total abortions in the United States, with a growing portion being ordered via telehealth, reaching 27% of all abortions. This is an increase from 2024, with providers under Shield laws facilitating around 14,770 monthly abortions into restrictive states. According to the Canadian Health for Health Information 2023 data, the latest available, there were 101,553 chemical abortions reported, the first time over 100,000 in 8 years, according to information released in March 2025. Sadly, these numbers are expected to continue to increase as accessibility continues to expand. On a larger global scale, according to the World Health Organization, for worldwide abortions in 2025, there were approximately 73 million annually across all methods. This proportion of these that are chemical abortions is increasing, especially in countries where access to healthcare or surgical options is restricted. Globally, about 39% of all abortions are carried out using chemical abortion. Sadly, we fully expect this number to continue to rise in the years ahead. And while I know all of this can seem heavy, and it is, I want to take a quick baby break just to remember all the women who have made the courageous and brave decision to feel the tug on their heart for their child and choose another path like this sweet girl's mom did. And while we love all the babies, toddlers, and little ones of every size, some are growing into big kids. A mom recently commented, "How crazy to come across your email while waiting in the preschool pickup for my miracle child who's now 3 years old. We are doing great. He is thriving. Super smart and funny boy. Every day I think about the day I almost lost him due to taking the abortion pill. I'm glad God spoke to me and told me to call APR. God makes beautiful miracles. My little one is one of them. Thank you for all you guys do to help moms and families in making the right choice to keep the babies. Prayers for all." That's what it's all about. Moms, babies, dads, families, and generations to come. The reality of chemical abortion is that it is typically quite painful and not a minor process that many are led to believe. A woman told us that it was one of the most horrific experiences of my life. I was told by the abortion clinic that it wasn't a big deal, that it was easy and private, she remembers. The pain lasted for 2 days and it felt like I was in full-blown labor. I was alone in one of the bathrooms of my apartment. And we hear statements like this quite frequently, as the pain is often labor-like, intense, and involves heavy bleeding, large clots, and strong cramps that mimic contractions and past fetal tissue. Clients have told us that they've passed the remains of their baby only to be surprised that it looks like a baby, because it is, and not just a random blob of cells. One of our clients was unsure what to do with her baby and reached out to us. Some bury their children alone. Some devastatingly choose to flush their baby, not knowing what else to do. This usually happens while she is alone, scared, in pain, and without any support or medical supervision. Here again, we see the lack of understanding of what truly is happening inside of her pregnancy-wise and after initiating chemical abortion. An APR client said, "I saw the embryo. That medicine was so painful. I thought I was going to die. Is that really expected, or is that just me? How does the medicine even work in my body? This is not medical care, nor is it care and compassion of women and their babies." Many states have done great work moving towards ending abortion with restrictive laws and legislation. However, chemical abortion remains steadily accessible as shipping is available worldwide and easy to keep discreet. Presently, there are at least 72 unique websites in the US, 30 abortion websites, and roughly 42 pregnant pharmacy websites at this very moment ready to ship, package, and distribute these pills. There are many more than we are even aware of. In countries like Canada, telehealth abortion is available through the mail, quick pickup at a pharmacy, via your local hospital, or through community OBGYN. This creates easy access even for those who live in remote areas. From AP News, a survey finds that 8,000 women a month got abortion pills despite their state's bans or restrictions. It is a very hard reality for those who have worked so hard to prevent the evil of abortion in their state, and while we commend their good work, we can't ignore the present landscape. We quite routinely see hotline clients who have traveled to another state to get their abortion medication, or those who have simply picked it up in the mail. Aid Access, Hey Jane, My Body, My Choice are all large online distributors of the abortion drug. NPR also reports that despite states' bans, abortions nationwide are up due to the use of telehealth. There are also many underground networks operating outside the law, continuing to funnel out medical abortion to women with no proper medical assessment or care. While we love and pray for the great pro-life legal teams and what they're doing, such as Alliance Defending Freedom, this just highlights the continued need for APR, education regarding life at conception, and further life-affirming advancement.
In times of financial uncertainty, safeguarding your assets is increasingly important. In response to ongoing inflation, economic challenges, and market instability, many Canadians are adopting the timeless strategy of investing in precious metals. Historically, gold and silver have held their value, safeguarding your assets against economic turmoil. Action for Canada is pleased to announce our partnership with Steve of Sun City Silver, providing valued members of A4C with expanded investment opportunities designed to help you achieve your financial goals. Steve is an ally of the Freedom Movement, and he's offering members of Action for Canada exclusive access to some of Canada's premier prices. By leveraging his connections with Silver Gold Bull, you can access competitive rates for securing your precious metals. Silver Gold Bull is a trusted Canadian leader, offering live pricing 24/7 and boasting nearly 400,000 five-star reviews on Trustpilot. For an order of $5,000, be sure to indicate you're an Action for Canada member and receive a complimentary 1967 silver dollar, courtesy of Sun City Silver. Expand your collection further by referring a new customer who places a similar order, and Steve will reward you with a special bonus thank you gift. Your purchase with Steve is a dual investment. You invest in your future while simultaneously supporting the Freedom Movement with a percentage of each sale benefiting Action for Canada. For more information, be sure to visit actionforcanada.com/purchasing-precious-metals/. Secure your assets, protect your future, support Action for Canada and the Freedom Movement. The information presented is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended to provide financial, legal, or tax advice, as we are not licensed financial advisors, accountants, or attorneys and cannot provide professional counsel. Be advised that the content and information provided does not create a client relationship. We recommend you consult with a qualified professional advisor before making any financial, legal, or tax decisions. Please note that Action for Canada is not responsible for an individual's financial outcome. Remember, your decisions are your own, and we recommend doing your own research before making any investment.
The reality is that this is no longer occurring just in abortion clinics. It's happening everywhere. Ordering the pills, directing the timing, implementing the process now also makes her a patient and her own abortionist, and her home the facility in which her child's life is ended. This is true of dorms, workplaces, and all the locations where women are ingesting mifepristone, misoprostol, methotrexate, or any other medication with the intent to abort an unborn baby. This is an additional weight and trauma for our clients, who then have to remember the pills on the counter, the blood in the bathroom, and the pain of choice that occurred in her home. However, there is another path or off-ramp for those who have changed their mind. Words like this from our clients are honey on our soul. I felt such kindness and love from your team. At Samaritans, I've only been loving and caring and not judgmental. I truly think that is the difference, is how loving and dignifying these services are. God is so kind, you are right. Yes, so much redemption and grace, even today with my husband, who was aware of everything the whole time. But it's been a journey, and we are growing stronger together. A trend we have seen at APR is because clients are so unprepared and expect something along the line of their usual cycle, they will take mifepristone and expect to continue on with their regular life activities. For example, I spoke with a woman who had started her abortion and was on an airplane as a flight attendant. In the air and while working, she began to feel regretful. I can't imagine what she was going through in that moment, going through all the motions of assisting passengers while waiting for the flight just to land so she can find help. Thankfully, we were able to connect her to help during her layover. Another called us from her break as a school bus driver. All of this to say that due to chemical abortion and its accessibility, this may be occurring at any place, space, or time. Having a proper diagnosis and care in pregnancy loss is so important to limit physiological impact on a client, as seen in the NICE study, placing these women at a much higher risk for harm. The recent push from Big Abortion has been to expand the pill's accessibility, especially on college campuses. Remember that these young women may not even be speaking to a medical professional and may have not even had proper confirmation of their pregnancy, meaning an ectopic or other health concerns may not have been addressed or ruled out. Family is often unaware, and many times so is the father. All of this is done in secrecy, darkness, and deception, as those around her believe she is safe while receiving her higher education. Here you can see a list of campuses who have already rolled this out, and I have listed U of A and Toronto as well. Despite the opposition, the political landscapes are commonly skewed against us, a society that devalues life, and the power of the enemy. We are so honored to say that we have over 8,000 lives saved and counting, thanks to APR and all the individuals who assist in this network. On average, we speak with about 6 to 8 clients a day, and in our opinion, the more the better. A woman is likely on the hotline at this very moment. Let us pray that she is choosing life. Each life saved is a gift to us all, and they are unique, important, and valued individual. Seeing these numbers tick up year after year has been so exciting, knowing that we are reaching women despite opposition and the advertising limits placed on us by Google and other tech giants. In many ways, the word about abortion pill reversal has been grassroots and grown by God himself. Finish what you started. This is something clients have repeatedly told us the abortion clinic, Planned Parenthood, or doctors said when they asked for help or if reversal is possible. It is so cold, dismissive, and difficult to know that this is what they hear in the moment of regret and shame while reaching for a way out. I pray for the glorious day of the very last abortion and for no woman to ever hear this phrase again while trying to rescue the life of their precious unborn child. We believe in truth and honesty. So hearing that clients are often counseled not to be honest and disclose the medication they have taken is heartbreaking. Learning that they are sometimes encouraged to report it as a miscarriage is incredibly dangerous and could delay her from receiving urgent, necessary medical care. Here we see from a chemical abortion group what to say at the hospital. Do not say that you took abortion pills. They cannot be detected if you did not take them vaginally, and they have the same effect as a natural miscarriage. Just tell the doctors you think you're having a miscarriage and describe your other symptoms. Moms like Noah's that overcome all of this confusion and darkness are filled with so much courage and bravery. Having clients lie to their medical team is so dangerous for so many reasons, and our friends at the Charlotte Losier's research found that miscoded patients were twice as likely to be admitted for surgery or retain tissue. Miscoded patients were at a significantly greater risk of multiple hospital admissions for treatment of complications from the abortion. In other words, having a woman mislead her healthcare provider by not disclosing the medication she has taken, in this case chemical abortion, could cause significant and lasting harm. Surgery contains risks and complications that could have a lasting effect on her future reproduction. This is unsafe and dangerous. Women deserve better than this. And here we see from a care provider, I cared for a woman with a negative pregnancy test 2 months after chemical abortion who still had dead retained tissue in her uterus that required surgery. They are ignoring the reality that only live tissue produces HCG. Simply put, having a client using an at-home pregnancy test to see if her HCG levels have dropped and she is no longer pregnant is not an accurate way of providing her medical care. This client still had fetal tissue remaining inside of her after chemical abortion for 2 whole months that had gone undetected. Only live tissue produces HCG, which the test detects. Not only is the abortion itself a tragedy, but this is all occurring unsupervised and unmonitored. And while so much darkness is occurring, moms are fighting through and creating their family as God intended. Families like this here, without the APRN, the little boy in the middle would be missing from this photo. His brother and sisters would miss a sibling. Grandparents would have one less life to enjoy, a classroom would contain one less friend, and the world would be missing him. Chemical abortion not only takes from a mother, it takes from us all. So while the abortion industry denies that reversal is possible, many families prove them wrong each and every day, and they are proof that hope exists. Because as the Bible says in Isaiah 49:1, before I was born, the Lord called me. From my mother's womb, he has spoken my name. We believe that to be true. The thousands of lives saved is a testimony to just how much God loves these babies and wants to save families from the heartbreak that is abortion. Despite the mainstream narrative, we know that women regret their abortions, and many do so almost immediately. A client once told me that she knew she made a mistake the second the pill went down her throat. Rebecca Hagan speaks about feeling led to believe termination was her only way out, but as soon as she chose that for her baby, it was as if the enemy blew the candles out in her life and said, gotcha. How amazing and beautiful it is to be able to fix a wrong, especially with a topic as final as abortion. But thanks to APR, we can reach, renew, and rescue. All this heartache, hurt, and pain can be countered with the life-saving APR protocol. Let's take a look at what it is, how it works, and the science behind the rescue. APR was founded by Dr. George Delgado, a California-based physician who one day received a phone call from a sidewalk counselor who was helping a woman in El Paso, Texas. She had taken mifepristone and changed her mind. They were hoping they could stop her chemical abortion. After speaking with Dr. Delgado, he said he would think on it, and using his knowledge about using progesterone in pregnancy, he likened it to a woman who have low progesterone levels and appear to be miscarrying. Using his expertise, he surmised that although progesterone levels may not be depressed, they're certainly being blocked. He suggested supplemental progesterone, hoping it could perhaps outcompete the mifepristone and save the baby. It worked in that case, and that's how this all got started. At APR, we commonly say it's just progesterone, because that's really all it is. Also known as the God-given pregnancy hormone. It's not complicated, elaborate, or even expensive. The first abortion pill, mifepristone, works by blocking this important component to a successful pregnancy. So simply put, our protocol is designed with the goal to outnumber and outcompete the mifepristone with progesterone. That's it. No complex intervention. Simply put, it's just more of the pregnancy hormone created by the creator. Dr. Delgado, a founding member of the APR protocol, explains this so well. The analogy he uses is that mifepristone sits in the receptors like a key to a lock, but it doesn't turn the lock. This allows us to add progesterone back into her body until her placenta takes over. This is usually around the 13th week of pregnancy. Progesterone is not taken for very long overall, normally just a few weeks depending on when the abortion is started. Mifepristone does not directly attack the baby. It works to destabilize the pregnancy. This allows us to counter its effects by giving her more of the hormone the abortion pill is attempting to block. It is important that the progesterone used is bioidentical micronized progesterone. The APR protocol does not work with synthetic progestins, which are used in oral contraception. This is because bioidentical hormones are man-made hormones that are very similar to the hormones made naturally by the body and can be used as a treatment when hormones are low or out of balance. Progesterone has an important role, and it supports a pregnancy by preparing the endometrium. It develops the placenta. It inhibits premature contractions, and it keeps the cervix closed. The progesterone protocol is a recommendation for dosing when countering mifepristone, but how is dosing of the progesterone decided? Client dosing is decided by an APR provider who works with a client to ensure she receives the progesterone in a way that is best suited to her and her needs. The APR protocol is a guideline. We even have recommendations for first, second, and third trimester, so no matter when a client initiates abortion, we can assist her. Chemical abortion is typically started before the 10th week of pregnancy, but it may be used as a surgical abortion prep, so we are able to assist clients who choose life for their babies even moments before a surgical route is taken, depending on what medications have been used. The APR protocol can be administered to a client multiple ways. Progesterone is stocked at most pharmacies, and this is part of what makes APR so successful. What she needs is standardly located in her nearest pharmacy, no matter where she lives. In many nations, it may even be available over the counter. Progesterone is covered by most insurance carriers, and it's low in cost. It varies depending on the area, but it's usually roughly like $20 to $30 a week. And this can be lowered if a client can afford the cost by ordering a lower quantity up front, or we use things like www.goodrx.com. It helps to find coupons for cost reduction. And again, the progesterone is usually only given until the end of the first trimester, usually the end of the 13th week. Not only is the APR protocol always prescribed at a provider's discretion, but no provider is obligated to assist the client. This is very important for those outside the network to know. If a provider feels uncomfortable for any reason or simply unavailable, they can always decline. The provider always assumes client care as they see fit, and we are so thankful for each of them. The APRN would not exist without the amazing prescribers on the front lines with a heart for this work and the moms and babies that they serve. We need providers, especially within Canada, where there's very few in such a large geographic area. If you know of anyone who could prescribe, or if you can yourself, we would pray you would pass along our network information and considering joining our network. Progesterone does come with some side effects. These are important for women to be aware of. It includes sleepiness, lack of energy, lightheadedness, dizziness, GI discomfort, and headaches. These symptoms commonly mimic first trimester symptoms, so it can be sometimes hard to find out where these symptoms are originating from. There are some considerations when using progesterone, and a main one is that the oral formulation is made with peanut oil. Hotline nurses conduct an assessment, which includes monitoring for client allergies and ensuring the provider is aware of anything the client may be allergic to. If a peanut allergy does exist, progesterone can be given via intramuscular injection or formulated without peanut oil at a compounding pharmacy. There are also considerations for those with a personal history of breast cancer, as adding in supplemental progesterone to a woman who may have had a hormonal-based cancer is contraindicated. However, she will still be referred, and her plan of care will be determined by a provider to ensure her individual needs are met. All imperative information is relayed to the individual assuming her care after the client signs the APRN consent form, permitting us to do so. To get into some of the science and data behind the abortion pill reversal protocol, we can look at Dr. Delgado's 2018 peer-reviewed study, which found a 64 to 68% success rate, and that is oral versus injection route. There was no increased risk of birth defects. That was 2.7 versus 3%, and a lower preterm delivery rate than the general population, and that was 2.7 versus 10%. I also love this picture of this sweet APR baby in his sunnies with a very bright future ahead of him. I would love to shout this fact from the rooftop. This is a central concern for many of our clients and one of the main fear tactics used by the abortion industry to dissuade clients from attempting reversal. Science shows that attempting the reversal protocol does not place your baby at a higher risk for birth defects. No outcome is guaranteed, and it is always an attempt when it comes to reversal, but the birth defect risk does not increase. In fact, when it comes to progesterone safety, a 1999 FDA review revealed no increased risk for birth defects in pregnant women taking progesterone. In more than 25 years of progesterone support in pregnancy, the Pope Paul Institute has stated, all of the available evidence strongly supports its safety when used in pregnancy. We know that progesterone is safe, but what about mifepristone? Does it cause birth defects? The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists stated in its practice bulletin 225, October 2020, that no evidence exists of a tetragenic effect of mifepristone. In other words, there are no associated birth defects when it comes to the medication mifepristone either. And as many of you may know, that ACOG is not exactly a pro-life organization either, so I love to use their quote, inadvertently supporting APRN. Our goal is simple: to reach women experiencing regret after initiating chemical abortion, then to assess her needs, ensure she is a candidate for reversal, explain the process, all the while showing her love. Then we connect her with a pregnancy resource center or life-affirming physician to get her started on the hormone progesterone as soon as possible. We want to give her the care that she deserves. I love this quote from a client named Heather, where she said, "Abortion for me was a decision made out of fear, but God has seen us through physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and financially. There's still so much ahead for us, but there's also so much hope. If the abortion had been successful, then I would have had a secret. But instead, God has given us a story." Those seeking reversal are often symptomatic because they're in the midst of an abortion and may experience cramping, spotting, and passing of small clots 3 to 5 days post mifepristone. But it is important to remember that the baby may still be viable and the chance to intervene with progesterone may still be possible. Ultrasound is our best tool to see how the pregnancy is progressing. Here's a quick breakdown of the different forms of chemical abortion outside of mifepristone. Misoprostol. So this is the second set of pills taken in the standard mifepristone-misoprostol abortion pill set. It is used to contract the uterus and expel the contents. Most clients experience regret after taking that first pill, mifepristone. However, sometimes misoprostol can be taken before this happens. We do assist clients post-misoprostol, where progesterone can be taken as more of a supportive treatment rather than an antidote. However, the APR protocol is designed for mifepristone reversal. Other common forms of abortion include methotrexate, Plan B, laminaria, and digoxin. As I've mentioned, our ministry is designed for mifepristone reversal, but we do assist quite routinely with misoprostol reversals as well. While progesterone does not work the same way in these cases, it can be given to provide the pregnancy with as much support as possible. However, it is important to note that there is a birth defect risk with misoprostol, which is a 4 to 12% risk of shortened limbs or facial paralysis in the baby, which is still relatively low. An APR provider once spoke of a baby missing a pinky toe, which in the scheme of things is incredibly minimal. However, it does count as a birth defect. Although between life and missing a pinky toe, I think I know what most people would choose. Also, it is important to know that many babies have been born completely healthy post-misoprostol as well. The hotline is a go-between connecting clients with local support in her community. We strive to have her fully connected to her closest pregnancy resource center or pro-life provider within 24 hours of initial contact. The APR hotline is available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. The APR provider assumes her care and assists with prescribing progesterone. Most of our contacts come through our friends at OptionLine, which do a great job of sending all the abortion pill reversal clients our way. The hotline nurses then assist with obtaining her prescription to ensure that there are no issues or barriers at the pharmacy, and then connect her with an ultrasound. There's always a healthcare team manager, such as myself, overseeing client care and monitoring their individual case. Pregnancy resources, oh, how we love them. In the role of APR, they connect the client with progesterone and offer client ultrasound and life-affirming care. The goal is to have clients scanned within 72 hours. And she really needs local support. That's prenatal care, parenting classes, diapers, and so many other amazing services. Clients are referred to their local center in the event that they also may have had a loss, or for abortion healing if continuing with termination. I'm honored to say that more than 1,500 medical professionals administer the abortion pill reversal protocol through the Abortion Pill Rescue Network. Presently, the Abortion Pill Rescue Network helps over 100 women per month start the abortion pill reversal process, giving their baby a second chance at life. Over 90% of mission critical callers start the protocol after speaking with the APR nursing team. Mission critical callers are those who are a candidate for reversal at the time of speaking with us. All of the babies you have seen here today are live saved through the APRN, and I've loved sharing client quotes throughout today's presentation. I wanted to share another victory in the form of Sierra's story, as written by Heartbeat International's Andrea Trudden in Pregnancy Help News. In the abortion facility parking lot stood a sign that read, "If you took the first pill, it may not be too late. We can help." Through abortion pill reversal and compassionate ongoing care, Sierra found not only medical support, prayer and encouragement, and dignity at a moment when she felt broken and alone. Progesterone treatment was promptly started, and her pregnancy continued. Months later, Sierra welcomed her daughter, Sawyer, into the world. Sawyer was born healthy, thriving, and deeply loved. Reflecting on her experience, Sierra shared, "God didn't have to let me keep her. The fact that I have a healthy baby is just a testament that God is good, and there's nothing that we can do to escape his love." Here is another photo of this beautiful family and Sawyer in the arms of her mom, safe alongside her siblings, just as God intended. Sierra has done so much amazing work turning her own experience for good. She even assisted another APR mom recently, and by sharing her story, she saved the life of another baby. These women are truly so brave to share such a deep and personal moment in their lives. I can't imagine it's easy to tell the whole world about your biggest regret and darkest moment, but they do with such courageous hearts. They pay it forward the best way that they can. I always like to say that the hotline never sleeps. We are always ready for her call. Anytime, we are available 365 days a year and 24/7. All holidays and even overnight, we are here to find her help. Our hotline team consists of approximately 25 to 30 nurses from all over the US, and their tools of the trade are a laptop, headset, and a huge heart. Most are mothers themselves and are an amazing group of women. Having a diverse background has made us all stronger, and each call that they take is a divine appointment. Many of our nurses have a pregnancy help background and several pro-life missions. If you feel led, please keep them and their work in your prayers. Many are surprised to learn that they care from clients all around the world: the UK, Nigeria, Dubai, Colombia, our very own Canada, Mexico, the Netherlands, and Kuwait, just to name a few. The path forward looks different for each woman, but all APR clients need abortion healing. We always refer clients to their local pregnancy resource center to connect with local resources aimed at abortion healing, and we also suggest visiting the website abortionchangesyou.com if they have had a loss. But this need for healing is needed whether reversal is successful or not. Connecting with their community church is a great place to start, and many feel open to prayer after feeling spiritual forces throughout this whole process. There are many great online groups such as Support After Abortions as well. No matter the outcome, those pills and that choice are something she's going to carry throughout the rest of her life. The reality of this work is that it's often hard, and the losses can be incredibly painful for our clients and for us too. We lean on the knowledge that even when reversal is unsuccessful, clients often express gratitude for the opportunity to save their unborn baby. They can take comfort in the knowledge that they tried, and we do too. Remember that everything belongs to God, the wins, the losses, and everything that comes in between. We invite those in life-affirming missions who have held the weight of client abortion loss to fast, pray, light a candle, and rest in the knowledge that you did your best. If you're not active in pro-life work, I humbly ask for you to pray for us. It takes many to make a difference in this movement, from nurses and doctors to sidewalk counselors, legal and media teams, donors of time and energy, pastors, and various groups to push back against the darkness of abortion. In this work, we may be some of the few people on earth to know of this little life, and it is an honor to fight for each of them. Here are some great ways to get involved. Spread the word. Just the knowledge that APR exists can save a life. Many are unaware of abortion pill reversal, so even saying the name is fantastic. You can do that through billboards, flyers, online, in chat rooms, and even through word of mouth. Reach the vulnerable in your community. APRN clients are no longer abortion vulnerable. They're actively in the midst of an abortion. Dispel the myth that chemical abortion is final, because reversal is possible. Spend time answering questions, offering support, and patient education. Saturate your community with abortion pill reversal information and links to the APR hotline and website. Clients reaching us directly is best. Send us any outcome information you may have if you're a pregnancy resource center. And last but never least, please pray. If possible, we would love to have you or your center join us as an APRN provider. We offer an APR provider kit that has everything you need to be able to provide APR, from an overview of the process, the APR protocol, complementary consent, supporting research, and much more. It's all free of charge. You can set your preferences for contact, your confidentiality will be upheld, and you can make a true difference in the lives of generations. All you have to do is email info@apr.life. And if you know of anyone who may be interested in joining our network, please spread the word. As Galatians 6:2 teaches us to carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. And this sweet girl, her name is Queen, and her mother's name is Wisdom, and I love to share that because I think it's so beautiful. If you ever have an abortion-minded client, woman, friend, daughter, please call us directly at Abortion Pill Reversal, and the phone number is 1-877-558-0333. More information and client stories can be found on the Abortion Pill Reversal website at www.abortionpillreversal.com. If you ever get time to look at the client stories, they are amazing and phenomenal. When we're speaking with women on the hotline, sometimes we just have them read the stories from other people on the same journey, and it's really phenomenal for them to be able to understand in a client's words what she has experienced. To learn more about the network, please email us at medical@heartbeatinternational.org or info@apr.life. I wanted to leave you with one last client quote from this courageous and amazing woman named Rebecca. I completed nursing school, passing exams before and after delivery. My boyfriend is on his way to becoming a good husband. As I laid my son down to sleep tonight, I started to cry. Despite every trouble, I have my son in my life, and no problem seems too big with him. He is God's miracle. He is God's gift to me and the world, and I'm so blessed to be his mom. I just want to hold my miracle son and pass our story on to the countless people who are just like us, those who need an answer and a glimpse of God's real plan. To end abortion, first we must pray. Second, it is vital that as a community and society, we support women in pregnancy. In simple ways, show your love, support, and care. Many that choose abortion do so in moments of despair and desperation when they feel the most alone. If you know of a woman in the midst of an unplanned pregnancy, tell her that she is loved, and so is her baby, because we all make mistakes and have regrets, but her child isn't one of them. Well, today I focused on the mother and child side of things while discussing APR. However, fathers are just as important in both the lives of the mom and the baby. Often they play a significant role in a woman choosing life for the unborn. They need support too, encouragement, and love. And I just want to personally thank you for being here and listening to my presentation today. I'm so grateful to share with you the work we do at APRN, and I hope it was a blessing to you. I also want to thank you for answering the call on your heart to fight for the unborn. I know hearing that call can sometimes be difficult with so much worldly opposition, and I truly commend your bravery. Lastly, please pray for us. We consider it an honor to pray for you all, and I pray that the rest of your day and all of your godly missions are highly blessed and favored. Thanks again.
Wow, thank you so much, Ashley. As I had said, the presentation when I first heard you at the event, I thought, oh my goodness, more people need to hear what you have to say. You've done an amazing job in the presentation and so thorough. You've covered absolutely everything, including, one of my questions was going to be, tell people what they can do, but you've perfectly listed all of the steps and the actions that people can take. And again, I really want to encourage our viewers that if you have a doctor who is pro-life and supports that little precious life in the womb, and they want to do something to support these mothers who are going through difficult times, then please make sure you reach out to Ashley at info@apr.life. And we'd like to get more doctors and individuals who can write prescriptions signed up because that expands their ability to help mothers in the making. Now, can you just answer one question for me, Ashley? What is that window of opportunity? What is the best window of opportunity after a woman has taken the first abortion pill? What's the timeline there?
The timeline on average, we want her fully connected in her community within 24 hours.
Okay.
The better. And usually it's well under that 24-hour window. And we have had successes after 72 as well. So I don't want anyone to ever think that it's too late. Give us a call. We can get a viability scan. We can take a look and just see what's going on with your pregnancy. But usually it's all kind of wrapped up and done within 24 hours.
Okay. And that's, again, why there's an urgency to have these doctors on call to make sure that you can get in touch with them, at any time of the day or night, I would imagine. And in a country as big as Canada, we can see why provincially, it can't be one doctor in the West covering the provinces in the East because we don't have a doctor in the East in the Maritimes that's not willing to step up, or because they just literally don't know about APR. And so again, we really encourage people as a solution. As I was listening to you and hearing the good stories about the babies that were saved, my heart was just so touched, as I know our viewers were. People were commenting in the chat, and bet it's got to be heartbreaking at times as well. So that's why Ashley, again, is pray for this team that are putting everything forward and fighting for the life of these babies. And then I just wanted to show, when I was at the event, you guys had a table, there was a couple of tables set up, and these are the little footies of a 10-week-old baby, of how big they are. And I don't know if you can see that. I mean, to be that formed with little toes on them at 10 weeks old, how can anybody say this isn't life in the womb? This is a growing little person. And so, we've got these to attach to our lapel and make a conversation piece and hand them out. And so I just, again, want to encourage people that this is one of the most important topics that Canadians are facing if we truly want God to hear the calls and the prayers of the righteous, because they availeth much. We have to get on our knees and pray for God's forgiveness and for allowing this to go on as long as it has, and to turn this around so that we can truly have God heal our land. So in that, Ashley, is there any closing statements or remarks that you would like to make?
I just want to thank you again for spreading the word about this. It really is the best thing that you can do outside of praying, because we know the good work that God can do, but just spreading the word about abortion pill reversal can be so instrumental. I can't begin to tell you about all the lives that have been saved just by a comment on a Facebook post and someone saying, "What's abortion pill reversal?" So I just want to thank you, Tanya, for all that Action for Canada does. You guys are an amazing team and really helping us out. And I pray any provider, if you can prescribe progesterone and you feel that call on your heart, please help with abortion pill reversal. It would be amazing.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Just God bless you and your team and the work that you're doing. It's just absolutely amazing. My heart is full. Thank you. All right. All right. So, well, thank you, everyone. Like I say, please make sure that you share this very important Empower Hour. It is critical that we get this information out. Now, for next week, our guest is going to be Frances Widdowson. You probably all, I would think everybody in Canada knows Frances Widdowson, and she is a political scientist. We're referring to her too. She was a professor who was removed for speaking out against the, how should we say, the Indian industry, the truth and reconciliation industry that is robbing Canadians of hundreds of billions of dollars with this fraud that they're putting forward, about children in graves. Nothing has been discovered. And so Frances Widdowson has been on the front line, even bravely going into university campuses to try to have a conversation with our youth to help them critically think about the issues, because they have been so deceived by the wokesters that are, our university campgrounds. It's a little bit of a scary place to send our kids, and most people are advising you not to do it because you'll never recognize your kids after 3 or 4 years. And so Frances has made some real efforts to help educate our children. And in the meantime, I don't know if you saw about it, but CTV, CBC, Global News were all reporting on the scam that recently took place, the ambush from a fake organization called Forge Media. They had actually reached out to me and came into my home, into my private space. They provided false names, false organizations. Everything about it was fake, but I had no idea about that, of course. It was supposed to be a documentary on talking about the Indians and the land grabs and the graves, and trying to bring some balance to it. They were very deceitful in the emails that they sent me. Frances was flown from Calgary to Vancouver and then brought to a warehouse to do an interview. And then she was basically ambushed. And then we find out that behind it was a CBC, Canadian Heritage, and APTN. And they had brought in individuals from America, spending millions of Canadian tax dollars for this scam. And they even had RCMP officers that they'd pulled into this, retired RCMP officers. And it was basically a public humiliation, berating them and humiliating them. And so we're going to have a conversation about that. We think it's important to expose some of these details. And then also Frances has had an amazing win. Who can believe it? In her human rights complaint, in her being removed as a professor. And so I look forward to hearing her update on that. It will be encouraging. I believe that this is happening. The truth and reconciliation, like I say, industry narrative is crumbling under the mounting evidence of fraud, fake graves, and massive financial overreach. And this is a desperate counterstrike on their part in order to try to shut down good people like myself and Frances and Dallas and others who are calling it out. And I say, the truth is always going to win. So we're going to continue to proclaim the truth. We're going to continue to expose these liars and frauds, and until this, is finally finished with. All right. So moving forward, I have a couple of verses tonight. When Jocelyn was on a couple of weeks ago, I had used a couple of these verses as well, but I think they're so important on this issue of abortion. And Proverbs 31:8 says, "Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. Ensure justice for those being crushed." And the next verse is from Deuteronomy 30:19-20. "Today I have given you the choice between life and death, between blessings and curses. Now I call on heaven and earth to witness the choice you make." And that's why I appreciate APR so much, right? They're giving you that last minute choice to make the right decision. And God is watching, he's listening, he's there for us, especially to do the right thing. So it carries on to say, "Oh, that you would choose life so that you and your descendants might live. You can make this choice by loving the Lord your God, obeying him, and committing yourself firmly to him. This is the key to your life." And finally, the verse comes to 2 Chronicles 7:14, which I've talked about a little bit tonight. And it says, "If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and I will forgive their sin and I will heal their land. And I'm like, oh, I just pray for that. I pray that people will understand exactly how serious this particular situation is in calling out to God and having him heal our land. We must protect these lives in the wombs and the unborn. And we have a duty, we have an obligation, we have a calling from God to do this. And so I encourage you again and again, please make sure that you share our information. APR has said previously, Ashley had shared that they are being highly censored. Google will block people from being able to access their website. And so we can help with that. You know that Action for Canada is being highly censored as well. And that's why word of mouth is very important and what we can do personally one-on-one. So build that community around you, continue to support Action for Canada and fantastic organizations like Ashley's. And together, let's glorify God in this nation. So with that, God bless you and God bless Canada.
Chapters across the nation. We are going to be in every town and every city, and we are going to build communities within these communities of like-minded people who are actually going to care for one another again and love on each other and give each other the help when they're down. We are going to use the teams and the people that build within chapters to support our businesses. The government's actions are completely 100% unlawful. Judgment will again be found on justice, and those with virtuous hearts will pursue it. You have a virtuous heart if you are here today pursuing freedom and righteousness. And then verse 23 comes along with a promise. God says he will turn